down, yelling out money, anything. Ayy, ooh, got the foot on the gas, pedal to the metal when I'm get to the bag. Ayy, got the foot on the gas, pedal to the metal when the lane moving fast. Ayy, ayy, let them all cross. If they hate, then let them hate and make a bigger boss. Ayy.
This episode is brought to you by SPI Logistics, the premier freight agent logistics firm in North America. For over 40 years, SPI has been diligently building the most successful freight agent network to provide first-class relationships for our shippers, receivers, and carrier partners. We are more than another transportation network. We are a dedicated team of professionals united by one singular purpose, and that is to expedite our agents' success. All of our agents are set up for success on day one, as they are provided with a full suite of support staff that is ready to assist them with everything from after-hours emergencies to financial and administrative needs on a no-fee basis. This way, you can focus on continuing to grow your business. There is no financial risk to start, and you have the ability to earn up to 75% in commissions. If you are looking to take control of your financial future and build your business with the backing of one of the most successful logistics firms in North America, visit www.spi3pl.com to learn more. Do me a favor and let them know that the Freight Coach sent you.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are not live because you guys, I interview people with actual day jobs, and we can't always get in on the morning show time slot out there. But I always love to take some time to break down some topics that I think are ever important for businesses. And then especially in today's day and age with, branding, social media, marketing, everything that's out there, there's such a massive opportunity that you can get your business in front of tens of thousands of eyeballs now with just one little click of a button. So I got my man, RJ Finnegan with SPI Logistics, branding manager. He's all things marketing over at SPI to join me to really talk about this today. So RJ, thank you so much for taking the time to join me.
Hey, as always, thanks for having me, man.
No, dude, I'm really looking forward to this one. And, because it's like we were saying before we hit record, I talk about freight literally 100+ hours a week. And it's not very often that I get to just talk about branding and marketing. And, because with now that doing the show, we got a system in place, right? Like my team behind the scenes, they're out there, Christian's leading up that charge. He's got everything. He's really elevated my branding, and he's just bringing in a different set of eyes on there. So, I really want to kind of talk about that for you coming into an established business and everything. What has that been like? Have you always been on the branding and marketing side of things?
No, I think marketing I kind of fell into. I've always kind of had a sales background, always, commission only and working different types of sales jobs. And I think that's kind of really helped out when it comes to branding or entering an established company, is because nowadays you just can't separate sales and marketing, right? Or branding as well too, right? Your whole entire sales process falls into your brand on how you speak, how you want to interact with your clients, how you want your clients to be able to see you. So coming into the SPI, like many people, I knew absolutely nothing in the freight, but like many sales jobs as well, you learn the product, you learn the system, you learn the people, you learn what they do, and you try to incorporate it best way you can. So it's been a journey. It's definitely taken some time to adjust into getting into the freight industry. But what's really nice here at SPI is just the patience to be able to learn, but then also try new things when it comes to branding.
So what has that been like, kind of like taking over a bit, because SPI has been in business for over 45 years. And what has that been like to be able to implement a real social media strategy and kind of hey guys, we need to leverage this and we got to just blow up our exposure to get in front of as many people as possible?
Yeah, it's been a journey myself. Just because I've worked with so many different types of companies, whether it's big Fortune 500, Rogers, or a small startup, things like that, advertising agencies. I've definitely learned a lot of, okay, what are you measuring? What are you doing? What's working and what's not working? So kind of had to strip it back bare bones and see what SPI was originally doing and what wasn't working, and kind of really looking at the data and the numbers from there. And then from that, was kind of really able to say, okay, well, you're on social media, e-commerce, I feel like is a big driver when it comes to technology, especially in marketing, because one, it's so competitive. And then also there's just so many new technologies coming out just in that industry alone, even not even including anything regarding freight. So just really looking at, okay, what technologies are they using? marketing wise into their workflows and campaigns that they have been doing, or are they using any at all? And then from there, really just figuring out, okay, who is our target customer? What are we doing? Where do they value us? What can we incorporate at the end of the day that's really going to help out, speed up the company to what is now, not what is yesterday, right? We want to always be in the now, because yesterday times change quite quickly. People's perception of you change quite quickly. So if you aren't able to be able to adapt and evolve with it, I feel like that makes your branding a little bit hard as well too.
Yeah, I think we are truly at a really unique time because it's like I think that even like the marketing campaigns of like long form content, and I mean, this is going to sound kind of counterintuitive from somebody who's on a podcast and hosts a podcast, but I look at it is like our social media strategy is we got to capture them with the clips to drive them to the podcast, right? And
Exactly.
I feel like a lot of people are almost like they're stuck in neutral or they're spinning their wheels because they're like, oh, we have to do so much complex content for our business. And then they overlook how they act in their personal life, right? And that was actually a big thing that we did inside of like the Freight Coach brand here is we're like, hey, we need to go more clips, but like we got to go no more than like 30 to 40 seconds max, because I had that realization one Saturday, RJ, when I was scrolling on my phone and I'm like, wait a second, the last 10 clips that I saw that they were longer clips, I scrolled. I'm like, I don't have time for this shit, right? So,
Yeah.
and I'm like that, and then that was the light bulb that went off. I'm like, we got to switch this up. We got to go below 40 seconds maximum, and we got to pump out multiple clips in a day, because that's what it is, man. You got to get that to hook people, to drive them in, because no one's going to sit down and listen to a 3-hour Joe Rogan podcast unless they've listened to Joe Rogan extensively, right? Like that's a buildup for where they're at, and you got to hook them on the clips.
Exactly. No, that's 100% it. Even when I started, I was posting, hour, 2 hour long podcast videos, and our watch time would just drop off after even 2 to 3 minutes. And I'm like, hey, you guys are putting in hard work. The agents that we have on there, they're also spending their time having discussion with you guys. And I'm just like, what can we do in order to retain people's attention, but also want them to take specific actions after watching our videos? And short form clips has been the way to go. I like it, but I also hate it because our attention span is dwindling because of algorithms and the way we consume information, but that's just the way it is. And you have to be able to be adaptable to it.
Yeah, and that's 100% of the reason why I have my show 30 minutes, right? Because it's like I
Yep.
paid attention, because when I was doing just long form podcasts, my episodes were like 45 to 55 minutes is what they lasted, but
Mm,
the viewership generally dropped at like the 20-minute mark, right? Like that's where all the
yep.
data was at. And I'm like, all right, well, we got to shorten this down. And then I just finally got down to it. I'm like, dude, we're just doing 30 minutes. We're in and out. And it actually increased our watch time. So our average watch time now is like 26 of our 30 minutes that we're live. And it's a science to get that down there, because of I don't necessarily do like conversational shows anymore all that often. It's more of like, hey, there's a topic, we're talking about the
Yep.
market, we're talking about this tech company, insurance, like there's a topic, and then we're in and out. It's like, hey, these are addressable steps that you can implement into your business. So that kind of helped to shift it. And I just noticed that because, again, man, you're right. Our attention spans are so low out there. Like
Mhm.
you have to be really into something to listen for more than 45 minutes in today's day and age.
Exactly. Exactly, man. You nailed it on the head.
So how are you, like, what would you say is one of those things from like a branding perspective that some companies are, or do you think they're overcomplicating their branding and marketing strategy out there, or are they trying to like integrate old school methodology into a new school that just might not exist anymore?
Right. Um, I'd say it's probably a little bit of both. I think, especially in freight, that I've learned that, relationships at the end of the day, they matter. And the relationships that you've made over the years with people, that's what's going to keep you going. Doesn't matter how good your marketing or branding is, the relationships you've built with your clients, your agents, whoever that might be, that's what carries you forward. And that, in a marketing sense, that's very hard to quantify. But I find a lot of freight companies, or companies in general, is their messaging is too simplistic. And we offer great customer service, we'll make sure your load's on time, all that kind of jazz, all the things you expect to hear from a top-notch freight company. But I think the way we've kind of positioned ourselves, especially in our messaging, and the way we've been a little bit different is that one, we have the best in line technology. We're always evolving to tech. Then also, what makes my job 100 times easier is we have a great client care department. And I feel like that's part of the easy sell is the relationship building too, because the client care team has such a fantastic relationship with everybody that we work with that it makes my job easier to really make us very unique because it feels like you're talking to a friend at the end of the day, right? Yeah, we might be working with you. Yeah, it might be business. And people say, oh, well, don't take it personally. It's like, no, when client care or myself, we talk to you, we want to know how your life's going. We want to know what's going on, just outside of the business, right? So that makes it a lot easier and provides that trust. So you'll rarely ever see, if you check out our social media on SPI or LinkedIn, you'll rarely ever see us being like, oh, we can guarantee you this low delivery or we offer the best in class customer service. It's all about the experience and how we are uniquely different in a sense that isn't like copy and paste like everybody else because we can't compete with CH Robinson and Landstar in terms of a marketing budget to be able to just, generally blast out the same message. Not saying that's what they're doing, but when you're going against, bigger guys, you have to be very unique and you have to be very specific in order to attract who you're looking for.
No, I agree. And I think like you guys are, like at SPI corporate, you guys have two clients that you're going after, right? Like you have the agents in your
Yep.
prospective agents, like so that's in one camp, but then it's all the shippers out there as well, right? Because when
Yep.
I'm out there cold calling and saying, hey, this is Chris with SPI Logistics, like that's a whole other sales strategy that comes on. And it's like if that drives web traffic out there, they're going to want to see that, right? Because I feel like that's a big misconception in the agent model that's out there is you're out on an island. And again, I can't speak for any other agent model out there. I can only speak for SPI Logistics because that's what my agency is through. But it's like that support system that you were talking about with client care. Like this isn't just the marketing guy at SPI trying to blast that out. Like I can say that with 100% confidence. And I tell them every time they're on my show, client care is the reason and the back office is the reason why we are as successful as we are as an agent, right? Because we have that. And, again, like literally before we got on this show, we had a load opportunity came through, required additional insurance. Back office, boom, had us an additional insurance quote within a minute. Like, no joke, a minute already ready for us and said, hey, boom, here's where it's going to go on that. And that gives us the ability to go out there, properly quote it, select the right carrier for the load, and then know that in the end of the day, like we're covered and we're protected. And it exponentially expands our ability to move more and more freight out there because of that support. And it's like when you're an agent, you're not a single operation, right? Like it might seem like it. And then at the end of the day, it is on you as the individual to go out there, grow your book of business, find new customers, and do all of that. But we get to pack the punch of a couple $100 million organization that it might not be out there in other places, right? And to be able to do
Exactly.
that, and for somebody like us with our book, we're primarily open deck, heavy haul freight. Additional insurance is a thing, and for us to be able to get that and get that quick it just makes our day so much easier.
Exactly. And I mean, time is money. And then just knowing you have them supporting you, it provides extra confidence in what you're doing as well, too, right? Because if you have something that you're worried about or you're not super confident in, you're just like, oh, I don't know if I can do it, or I don't know if it's going to work out based off of XYZ. You slip up, right? We've all worked sales, right? You'll kind of stutter. You'll be like, oh, you'll try to be a little bit, you'll try to rush. But when you have the right team and the right support, you are able to make sound decisions for yourself, but then also get the right results for your clients too. So hats off to them because, as you said, right, makes my job easier, makes your job easier. And honestly, I wouldn't be where I am without them. I know that for sure. And I can't say the same for you, but you know how much they value you.
No, dude, it's not a joke, man. Like and I think that that's one of those things that comes along with partnering with SPI because it's like, I mean, SPI has been my long time advertiser on the show here, but it's like where I truly view it as like a holistic partnership, right? Because it's like my agency is through them. It also, it's like it really counterbalances each other at the end of the day. And it's like, man, I want to scream your guys' names from the mountaintops, not just because they're like, oh, they pay you to advertise on your show. It's like, no, like the amount of value and what that organization has done for my businesses is like, I cannot accurately put it into words to what that has done for me and my family over these years. And it's one of those things where it's like, it's safety is one of those words that comes to mind when I think of SPI, because it's like, it's hard enough to build a business or a book of business in freight. And
Yeah.
then, because the agency model is, it's taken off on a world of its own on social media these days. Some people are way overselling how easy it actually is, and they're trying to
Yeah.
make it into something that it's not, right? Because it is very challenging to build a book of business, and then let alone a sustainable book of business year in and year out. But the safety that comes along in having those steps in place that SPI has, because again, here's the thing that's never talked about in the social media world. It's the emotion tied behind you've been prospecting this person for 6-7 months. They're
Yep.
finally going to give you that opportunity, and then you run a credit check on them. Oh wait, they don't have any. And oh wait, they're not going to prepay via credit card. And what you don't realize in the moment is you just dodged a massive bullet, and you need those stopgaps in place in business, because dude, that human emotion is the one thing that you can never properly quantify
Yep.
until your bills are due, and you might not have the money to pay them unless you close that deal, right? So it's like, to have those stop and that security blanket in place, I don't know if enough people actually understand how valuable that really is.
That's honestly it, man. Honestly, that's the emotional value, as you said. I think that's what separates those that do well to those that do extremely well. And if you're able to have that emotional value and control your emotions, especially in situations like that, you guys, I mean, you hunt, right? You hunt for what you earn, right?
Yeah.
You don't work in a salary job, so everything matters in that sense as well too. So, well said, man.
No, I just, I look at a lot, speaking of hunting, right? Like, and then I'm going to correlate it to content as well. I look like there's a lot of parallels between hunting for freight and like trying to go out there and build a brand on social media, because in my opinion, everybody should have a social media presence in today's day and age, right? Like the
Yep.
eyeballs that you can potentially get on a post. I mean, what is 100,000 views of your target market? What is that value to you as a company? Right? Like businesses pay a lot of money for eyeballs,
Yep.
to get it on their stuff. And you don't need a massive marketing budget. And that's what I love about where we are with a content perspective here, RJ. Like the biggest logos in this country, they might have $100 million marketing budget annually, right? And
Yep.
then one person recording off of a busted screen iPhone can get more views than them on social media in today's day and age. So it's like, you'd be a fool to not be out there and posting stuff.
Exactly. Honestly, that's so true. I just even scrolling LinkedIn the other day, and there was this company, terrible, but I forgot the name, but I was like, oh, I've never heard of this company. The CEO made a post and somehow came up, and I was like, okay, let me check it out. And then even just from seeing that simple post and looking at their profile, I was like, oh, okay, this looks like a pretty cool internal tool. Didn't sign up or anything, but I added it to my watch list of like, okay, let me see how this company is going to do, or can I fit it into my workflow? Will it make sense? So it's just, yeah, you can just be doing the most random thing, and the right person pops up at the right time, or the right message pops up on someone's feed, and you're just like, oh, okay, let me check them out. And it's never, get them to buy right away. The first touch is saying like, hey, this is me. You like what I have to offer? Yeah. Are we speaking the same language? Yeah. Okay, that's it. So I find a lot of content too, going back into how easy it is to create content, is a lot of people are creating content to sell right off the bat. You never do that, right? You want to create content in order to get eyeballs, to keep people top of mind, to keep them to notice who you are, right? It's like, I mean, I don't know about you, but like as a I was terrified to ask out girls, so I would never, ask out a girl right away, right? It'd take me at least 4 or 5 times of me chatting with her and being like, okay, now I feel a little bit more comfortable. Yeah, now I'm gonna go ask her out, right? So it's kind of it's a little weird, it's a little cringe, but it's kind of the same thing, especially if you're doing B2B or B2C, clients. It's like you want your content to be like, hey, show a bit of your personality, show what you're like. Don't sell all the goods, but just tell them like, hey, I'm out here, I exist, right? So
Dude, a lot of people are shocked when I tell them this, is that I'm naturally an introvert. Like
yeah,
straight up, naturally, I'm an introvert. When I'm not like working, dude, like I'm cool with just being at home with my wife and my kid and
yeah,
not talking to people, right? Like you have to like I get into these moods, RJ, where like you got to be really important to me for me to reply to your texts
yeah.
on some days, right? Because it's like I look at it is like I've developed the ability to turn this on and off very well, right? Because like when
Very
I'm
good.
in work mode, Like, and again, it's like, and that's kind of like where the freight coach like kind of comes in is it's like when I click in, like, dude, I'm the freight coach when I'm out on the road traveling, stuff like that. I'm not
Agreed.
Chris Jolly. I'm the freight coach, right? Like, and
Yeah.
I have to go out there and I do it. I have to perform. And it's the same thing like with content. And there's a really good book out there called The Alter Ego. And you need to tap into an alter ego when you're doing it, right? Like you brought up being afraid to talk to, I was terrified to talk
Yeah.
to girls when I was younger. And so, and I still don't understand how I got my wife, but that's a conversation for another day. But it is, man, it's like that's what I think stops so many people from succeeding with content or in sales is that it's in between their ears, man. I think if that is, I can say this with confidence, 99% of your problems are made up in your head. Like
Yep.
they really are, man. Like, trust me, this is coming from somebody who has released over 1,200 podcasts, who's been posting essentially every day for 5 years now. Nobody notices you like you notice you. And that's
Yep.
not a knock on anybody. I'm not trying to make anybody feel unimportant, but dude, you're your own main character in your life, just like everybody who's viewing your content is the
Yep.
main character in their life as well, right? So it's like, go out, and I'm saying this because it's like, go out there and put in the work because your biggest colossal mess up, they're not even going to notice. Like,
Yep.
and then trust me, somebody is going to say something so much more outlandish on their scroll where they're going to forget about you, man. Like, because again, that's the gift and the curse of social media, RJ. I
Yep.
think some people don't post enough, but then I think some people don't realize that it's forever. Like what you say on social media will follow you.
Exactly. Oh, 100%, man.
Dude, so like, with that being in mind, how are you working with, like the agents at SPI? Are any of them coming to you like, hey man, I want to build my brand up there? Are you working with them to try and help grow their exposure on social media?
Yeah, I've had a couple agents reach out, ask. A lot of agents are on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
What I try to do is I'll try to rebrand their profile to be more specialty of what they specialize in, better messaging, nice banner pictures, things like that, so that it isn't a beautiful first visit if prospective clients should go visit their LinkedIn profile. When it comes to managing social, not entirely. I mean, I'd have to have a whole entire department and a whole entire team
Yeah.
just to be able to, because it's not that don't want to manage it. It's my philosophy is if you're going to do something well. And I understand the beast, should I say, that LinkedIn is in order to do extremely well on there. And
Mhm.
then also we want to get you shippers, we want to get you clients. So like I said, you just have to take on more labor and a bigger team. So the best or at least what I try to do is I'll try to guide them in terms of, hey, it's better to post something once or twice a week. Make sure it's value based, make sure it's human, make sure it's something that happened during your day or something that, isn't just made up from a chat GPT post, right? Make sure it's authentic, because when someone does go visit your profile, even when I'm checking out, different people's profiles on social media, I'm looking at how often are they posting. And then also on LinkedIn, it's like, how often are they active? Because at the end of the day, a lot of people are prospecting on LinkedIn. Yes, you can share your status, but you're prospecting. You're seeing what's out there. You're seeing who fits where and how, right? So that's always the strategy I say is, even if you have 1 hour a week, right? Post something once per day, I mean once a week, and then that at least makes you look active instead of stagnant and a creeper profile that just
Yeah.
is messaging and be like, hey,
Dude, but that's the thing, like with it is it, speaking of having an hour a week to invest in something like this, you can create 6 videos, 30-second short form videos or whatever, or you could preload and schedule out posts, right? Because like we use a company called Buffer. Like we pre-schedule out all of our stuff at this point. And again, like it's a system now. Like this is a verifiable business at
yep,
this point. So it's like we have systems in place to where it's like we have a content drip going every single day of the week, right? And then there's sometimes where we'll ramp it up on weekends, we'll scale it back. And it's all about just that constant, like if you're scrolling inside of transportation on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, there's a high probability you're seeing a freight coach video out there or a freight coach post out there. And
Yep.
again, like we organically create all of this stuff, right? But
Yep.
we use tools at our disposal to make our jobs easier. So it's like I'm not sitting there last minute. And I think this is where a lot of companies and individuals get hung up is they're like, I don't know what to post. I don't know what to say, or they forget. And then they just fire off some bullshit. And they're
Yep.
like, oh, I probably shouldn't have said that. And it's like, you can schedule it out, man, once a week. Maybe Thursday afternoons are slower for you. Schedule from 1:30 to 2:30. Go out there and just think like, hey, what would be valuable? And I like to just keep it simple because I
Yep.
think like you can go overly complex with your content and you're going to get people like they're just not going to pay attention. They're like, what is this person talking about? To
Exactly.
me, it's like action packed, quick, to the point. But most importantly, and this is the most overused term out there, but I think this is where a lot of people get themselves in trouble is with authenticity, right?
Mhm.
And I can like I can say this with again 100% confidence. You got to 100% be you, right? You cannot be 80% authentic and tailor to multiple people, right? I
Yep.
know I curse on my show, right? I've heard enough of it out there, but guess what? There's a lot of people out there who say, dude, I love listening to you because you just let it flow and you're yourself. Yeah, it comes with some curse words, but again, if that's who you are as a person, let it rip. There's a big difference between dropping an occasional F bomb and being derogatory while dropping an F bomb, right? Like the context
Exactly.
is everything.
Yep, 100%, man. I want to touch on an important point that I think it was a big lesson also for me here when I started is that you said you used buffer and a handful of tools in order to have that campaign. That's a learning curve, right? You had to learn how to
Oh, yeah.
do that, and you had to want to be able to do that, right? Because you saw the potential. I find people in the industry, not singling out agents or anything like that, but a lot of people in the industry they'll look at social or content as something that's just like it's an extra thing to do, yes, but they're like, oh, well, I don't know anything about LinkedIn, or I don't know how to post this or post that. And it's like, as soon as I hear that, and I was like, okay, well, it doesn't sound like you want to. You're saying you don't know how, but it'd be different if you said, hey, well, I tried doing this and I researched how to look up how to, do X, Y, Z. That comes off way more different than someone saying, "Well, I don't know how to do it," or "Oh, I'm not good with this tech stuff." And and that's I I don't like I get it. You have your own business and you have to focus on certain things, but I'm more of a I don't like excuses. If it's important to and you find a reason, right? You're going to do it. There's going to be no hurdle for you to overcome. And like you said, you're using those tech stacks and those technologies because you understand the value of drip campaigns and social media and content delivery at the right time and the right place. So I think that's just a mindset shift that I find the industry itself has to really kind of evolve with as well too. Again, everyone's brain's different. Not everyone's going to work the same. I don't like to look at it as an age thing either because I know people that are in their 60s that have taken apart computers and I can't take apart a computer myself and tell you what's in the mainframe and what's happening there, right? So, I think a lot of the social too comes down to the willingness to learn and want to learn, but also to visually see the impact and to also understand that, it is something worth investing into, aside just dollars.
Yeah, and you're talking about impact. I think that's a great point because there's enough content out there that's a mile wide and an inch deep. Like it's not moving. It might get some eyeballs, right? Like it might get some engagement, but like what's your intent behind it,
Yeah.
right? And that's one thing that, trust me, if there's anything that I have battled the most with over 5 years of being in like the social media world and podcasting is not playing to the fringes that get short-term engagement boosts out there, right? Because I could easily have a content strategy, RJ, where I only talked about the shitty part and freight, and
Yeah.
then like get a ton of eyeballs and a ton of likes and everything else. I could probably 10x my engagement out there if I wanted to, if I wanted to. But who benefits from that? Chris Jollywood for probably 2 years, and
Yeah.
then I would be obsolete.
Yep.
And I'm truly, truly, truly in my heart of hearts, man. I want to create meaningful change for the transportation industry because like this industry, I've been a part of it my whole life, right? Like I'm a multi-generation transportation individual out there, right?
Well, yeah.
And from my perspective, man, like we're at a critical point in the industry where we can do a lot of good with social media and put best practices out there because dude, when we're talking about $1 trillion industry, like let's be honest, you guys, $1 trillion. I don't even think enough people can quantify what $100 million is,
Exactly.
and it's like, cause it's crazy to me that people are like, oh, you're just a $50 million brokerage or a $70 million. It's like, do you know how much $70 million, if it's that easy, go build it yourself. Right.
Exactly.
And from a content perspective, I'm like, man, there's so much opportunity out there that if we elevate the standards in the industry through content, we're going to elevate the right individuals and the right companies out there because there is a 0% chance I can move freight for every single shipper in North America. 0%
Yep.
chance, right? At
Yep.
least maybe in a couple of years with technology. But in today's day and age, I'm also not naive enough to think that everyone's going to love what I'm offering, whether it's content or freight brokerage, right? Like I'm not naive to think everybody's going to want to work with me, but I do look at from this perspective, can I move the needle in the right direction on this earth in this short time that I have on this earth to help people? Because like when it boils down to it, man, that's all I've ever wanted to do, right? Like I initially wanted to go to school to be a teacher and I was going to be a history because I just like helping people.
Yep.
And I realized how shitty teachers got paid, and I'm like, it's not going to happen for me. But I
Mhm.
can do both now, right? Like I can go out there, I can teach people about freight, what I know, focus on the best practices because, like I say before every single show, I just want to put information out there that you can apply, utilize, and see a meaningful difference in your business, in your life. I hope you listen to this podcast and then you make some changes in your business and then you profit and then you can create a better life for your spouse, your family. That's all I want to do at the end of the day, man.
Exactly. I mean, that's so huge, man. Because I think people overlook meaning, and I get it. We live in a capitalistic society, right? Dollars matter. You gotta eat. You gotta pay bills. You know, you gotta survive. But when you have meaning behind it, I mean, I think that just drives it up so much more because I'll be honest, when I first started while I was learning here, it was tough because I was like, yeah, I understand it. Yes, I'm learning, but like where am I really having an impact, right? And being not an SJW, but just a typical millennial is just like, oh man, I'm just helping out the corporate people, stuffing line in their pockets. That's not what I want to do. It's not what my skills are, right? But when I realized, especially just talking with client care and then also seeing how much it impacts your guys's lives and how much it improves, I was just like, oh, okay, that's what it is. That's where the meaning is, right? Like we're helping people, get from point A to point B a lot easier, a lot quicker, and the smiles on their faces, the awards at the rendezvous that they get, things like that, right? Like it completely changed my whole perspective of even just working in the industry, and then also the relationships that you build with it too. So you honestly, you drove the nail on the head there when it comes to leaving something positive for the industry, but then also if anyone picks up on anything and they can apply it to their own businesses, that's huge value in itself too.
Yeah, and and those are the messages that I appreciate the most, and it's like, and you never realize, what impact you can have out there in the world until you're like out at industry conferences and stuff like that. And the amount of people who will stop me. And I love this when this happens, right? They're like, dude, I've been listening to you for years. I've never commented. I don't do any of that stuff. And I'm sorry, but
Yeah,
I applied what you talk about, man. And I've got customers from that. So I just wanted to say thank you. And it's like, dude, those are the messages that mean everything to me because I'm like, all right, I'm doing some good in this world, right? And
exactly.
that's where I think like I wish more people, and again, I understand the value in eyeballs, right? Like I understand the ROI that most advertisers look for of like, what's your reach? How many people are you like? I get the business side of it. So I understand why people act outlandish out there. But again, like I'm looking for longevity in all of this stuff. I'm not looking
Exactly.
for a season because I could say some really outlandish shit and probably be the biggest name out there in like for the next 2 years. But again, I'd be obscure and then everyone would think
That's your
that was
brand. That's who you are.
obsolete.
Yep. Exactly. I mean, that's so true too, right? Like so many people are just doing things for clicks and just for short-term gain, and they're not looking at the long-term outlook. Because as you said earlier, it's the internet. It's out there forever. You can try to delete it, but there's something called Internet Archive. It's still out there. So
Yeah, and that's the thing though, man, is it's like it is so crazy to me. Like I see individuals on my LinkedIn feed and some of the stuff that they're saying, I'm like, dude, like for starters, I'm like, what if one of your customers saw you talking like this?
yeah,
Or what if a prospective employee, like I've seen some CEOs say some really outlandish stuff, man, like calling out other companies, doing all of that. And I'm like, if that's your brand, like, dude, that's a losing strategy. And again, like, I understand that 50% of the people probably aren't going to like you no matter what you do and say out there.
Yeah.
But like, you don't have to go completely off the rail and stuff like that. Because again, man, like, this is forever. This is a very powerful tool. In these short 5 years that I'm in doing this, this has opened up so many more doors than
Yeah.
I ever thought was possible. The fact that, like, A, I've been able to monetize this and create a business out of this, speaking engagements that have came from, like, all of this stuff that has come from that, all because I decided to hit post one day. And again, I make that conscious decision because trust me, I'm a very competitive person. I hate losing more than I like winning. It takes every ounce of me to not chirp on some of the stuff that I see
Oh, I
out
believe
there,
him, man.
but I keep my mouth shut and I go about my day. And I'm like, and because I had somebody challenge me early on in my career because they're like, where do you want to, go with this? And I told them, I'm like, I want to build, $1 billion brand. That's what I'm going after. And they're like, well, you got to ask yourself this one question. If you ever want to chirp, would the CEO of $1 billion organization ever interact with something like that?
Yeah,
And I'm like,
exactly.
ooh, so that hit me. And then that's actually what I tell myself a couple of times. If I see something, I'm like, wait a second. Would Chris, the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar organization in 20 years from now, would he even remotely sniff at replying to this? Absolutely not. So
Yep.
I move on with my day from that point.
For sure, for sure. That's a very good point. I think especially with LinkedIn, I don't know what happened, but it's almost you can't scroll on there without there being a political post or a political opinion on something. I'm like, guys, what are you doing to your business here? Like you're losing half your customer base just by, I get it, you get opinion, but there's different platforms, there's different areas for that. Don't be doing that where your prospective clients and your community is.
I think like there's, from when it comes down to it, speaking of like politics and like religious beliefs and stuff like that, you can talk about it everywhere. But I feel like what's the context behind it? Are you degrading somebody because they believe in something different from you? And I think that's where people get themselves in trouble.
Rarely ever is it good. Rarely
Yeah.
ever.
Because that's the thing though, man, is it's like, dude, people can fundamentally disagree with me on everything I stand for politically.
Yeah,
I'm not going to tell you you're wrong because you feel differently than me, right? Like that doesn't make you a bad person as long as you're not
exactly.
harming another individual, that then I'll speak up. But it's like, dude, we can fundamentally disagree on everything, but like, all right, man, you're not a bad person because we think differently. I think like that's the only way. Like, and again, from like a branding perspective as well, you need those contrasting viewpoints to
Yep.
come in and really challenge you out there. Like, hey, is your stuff the way that you think it is? Because everybody has blind spots in their game and you got to see that and you need to hear that at times. And no, that doesn't mean that your world's going to end because somebody disagrees with you on social media.
Exactly. Well, that's what I mean. Like, it's when you're saying, like, would a $50 million CEO comment on this? I honestly thinking, like, to most people, if you see something that you disagree with on social media, religious, political, take your phrase. Would a $50 million CEO comment on that? Chances are probably not. Move on to the next one, right?
And that's the thing though, man, is I feel like a lot of people should do that on a lot of platforms, but especially LinkedIn, man. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, I was talking to some of my buddies who were like the OG freight people out there creating content, and they've all kind of said the same thing. They're like, man, it's like it's kind of like lost its luster in the sense of like it used to be so much more value driven. Now it
Mm,
just seems like a lot of bitching and complaining out there. Cause it's like, yeah, man, we get it. It's tough, it's hard, but like it's on you, and that's one thing that I try and talk about a lot on the show is it's like, man, when you go into business for yourself,
yep.
it's nobody else's fault but your own. It's nobody else's responsibility but your own for you to be successful. The world doesn't owe you anything. You
No, so
owe
true.
you. And it takes so much more than you want. And again, back to the whole social media side of things, but the social media glorifies how easy this stuff is supposed to be. And it's like, again, man, I'm just going to stick with my strategy, speak about my experience, the realities of it, because that's all I want my content to be known for is like, hey, at least that guy speaks honest and he's not trying to blow smoke.
Exactly, man. I honestly, I think that's why I have so much respect for you too, is because like people might come up to you at a trade show and then be like, "Oh, I listen to your stuff. I love you and all this." But like, I don't, I don't think people realize how much you had to be emotionally wounded to keep going, especially in the beginning, because like
Yeah.
if you're posting almost every single day and there's, first off, friends and family, especially if you're posting every single day, rarely do they support you because they know you. They want you to do well, but it'll take a while for them to pick up on that. But what I was saying with you is you've taken 5 years of consistency and hard work in order to build not just name for yourself, but for your business as well. And I think too many people often see, as you said on social media, the finish line, the end product, and they don't actually see the emotional damages, the trials, oh my God, okay, this didn't work. Okay, well, should I just give up and try something else or be on a different platform or whatever it is, right? And I think that's why one, I work so well with you too, and then also respect what you're doing is because I see that consistency and I know the amount of growth pains you're going through it. Again, I have the easy job. I'm behind in a job. I don't have to worry about bills. Oh, I still do, but
No, I
I
know
don't
what
have
you
to worry. I have a
mean.
salary coming in, right? There's a difference, right? So that's why, yeah, again, just have so much big respect for you on that regards because I know, especially on social media and content creation, how difficult it can be and how easy it is to just give up on something, especially in the beginning if it
Yeah.
isn't working. So big props, man.
No, I appreciate that, and it's one of those things, RJ, where as a competitor, yeah, it does bother me at times, but I'm also like, again, my perspective isn't like how can Chris Jolly get famous, right? Because that's not my end goal at all.
Yeah.
I am more along because like I look at it, and again, you think the algorithm's working against you. And again, there are some things that you can do and say on social media where you will get shadow banned. Like I have found those ways. But it's one of those things that again, ultimately, you have to realize like you just got to keep showing up. You
Yeah.
got to keep putting in the work. And again, like and what really like kind of summarized it for me once is, man, I had a one post that got like 100,000, like obscene amount of engagement on it. And then I thought that was my moment, right? I was like, oh, dude, this is it. Everything's going to take off. The next day, man, fell flat, like 5
Yes.
likes on a post. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
never mind. But again, it is, man, it is that reminder where in those moments, because again, I'm human, right? This stuff does affect me because it's like, I care about others, but I also understand that it is a long-term strategy, right?
Yeah.
Like I've only like yeah, 5 years might seem long for some, but like, dude, if I quit now, RJ, what if I was 5 years and 6 months away from going to the stratosphere? Because like now I'm like, dude, I know now today with 1000% confidence, I'm even closer to
Yeah.
my end goals with it than I will ever be. So it's like, man, it's got to keep showing up and putting in the reps at this point, keep adding value to others, and then things are going to work out.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, I was going to say, man, I want to be mindful of your time. I know you got stuff going on out there, and dude, this flew by. But dude, RJ, thank you so much. I just enjoy talking about all of this stuff, and you care a lot about your what you're doing over there, man. So how does anybody reach out to you to find out more?
Yeah, for sure. You can just go on LinkedIn, check out SPI Logistics, or you can find me on LinkedIn, RJ Finnegan. I'm there, always available, always happy to help any way I can.
Dude, I appreciate it, RJ. And if you can't find RJ or SPI for whatever reason, you guys hit me up. I will gladly put you guys in contact with them. But that's going to be it for today, ladies and gentlemen. As always, if you got value in what you heard, subscribe to the show. And if you're feeling really ambitious after this one, rank the show on iTunes and Spotify, because if you see value, your network's going to see value as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. And we'll be talking to you soon.
Came back with a bang. Window down, yelling out money, anything. Ayy, ooh, got the foot on the gas. Pedal to the metal when I'm get to